She screamed and fought, but their grip was too strong. They bound her tightly, her body immobilized by thick ropes. Chief Okafor approached, holding a ceremonial knife that glinted ominously in the candlelight. He chanted in an ancient language, his voice resonating with a chilling power. Omar's mind raced with fear and disbelief. She had heard stories of human sacrifices, but never imagined she would become a victim. Chief Okafor's chants grew louder, and he traced the knife along her skin, leaving shallow cuts that burned with a searing pain. The agony was unbearable, and Omar felt her strength waning. In a moment of desperation, Omar's survival instincts kicked in. She spotted a heavy candlestick within reach and, with all her remaining strength, managed to knock it over. The candlestick fell, striking one of the henchmen and creating a momentary distraction. Seizing the opportunity, Omar wrenched herself free from the ropes, ignoring the pain that tore through her body. Adrenaline surged through her as she bolted from the altar, sprinting towards the dense forest that surrounded the estate. The night was dark and unforgiving, branches scratching her skin and roots stripping her feet. But Omar pushed forward, driven by sheer will to survive. Behind her, she heard the shouts of Chief Okafor's men, but she didn't look back. Her escape was a blur of fear and determination. She ran until her lungs burned and her legs gave out beneath her. Exhausted and wounded, Omar collapsed on the forest floor, her body trembling with pain and relief. She had escaped the clutches of death, but the ordeal had left its mark. Omar knew that Chief Okafor's influence was far-reaching, and her struggle for survival was far from over. As dawn began to break, casting a soft light over the forest, Omar mustered the strength to push herself up from the forest floor. Every movement was a struggle, her body aching from the ordeal. She knew she needed to find help, but the fear of being recaptured by Chief Okafor's men loomed large. After what felt like hours of stumbling through the dense underbrush, she saw the outline of a small farmhouse at the forest edge. The sight gave her a glimmer of hope. Summoning her last reserves of energy, she staggered towards it and collapsed at the door. The farmhouse door creaked open, revealing an elderly woman with kind eyes filled with concern. Without hesitation, the woman took Omar in, offering her food, water, and a place to rest. The warmth and safety of the farmhouse were a stark contrast to the terror she had just escaped. As Omar regained some of her strength, she recounted her harrowing experience to the elderly woman and her nephew, a journalist visiting from the city. The journalist listened intently, his face growing stern with resolve as he realized the gravity of the situation. He promised Omar that he would help expose Chief Okafor's dark secrets and bring him to justice. In the days that followed, the journalist began his investigation, gathering evidence and testimonies from other victims. Omar, meanwhile, slowly healed from her physical and emotional wounds. The farmhouse became a sanctuary, a place where she could begin to rebuild her life and plan her next steps. Despite the relative safety of her new refuge, Omar knew that the fight was far from over. Chief Okafor's influence extended far beyond the village, and his men would be looking for her. But now, she had allies, people who believed in her story and were willing to stand by her side. Omar's journey took her to women's international conferences, where she shared her story and advocated for the rights of other women who had suffered similar fates. Her voice, once filled with fear, now resonated with strength and determination. She mentored at-risk women, providing them with the support and encouragement they needed to reclaim their lives. Years later, Omar stood before a large audience in an international conference hall in Geneva. The hall was filled with people from around the world, all eager to hear her speak. As she recounted her journey from darkness to empowerment, the room fell silent, captivated by her words. Omar spoke of hope, resilience, and the power of standing together against injustice. As she concluded her speech, the audience erupted in applause. Omar felt a profound sense of fulfillment and purpose, knowing that she had turned her pain into a force for good. Her journey had not only been one of personal survival but had also inspired countless others to fight for their own freedom and rights. And so, Omar's story became a beacon of hope, a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the transformative power of courage and advocacy. She had faced unimaginable horrors and emerged stronger, a true symbol of empowerment and resilience. In the weeks following her speech in Geneva, Omar's advocacy work continued to gain momentum. She traveled to various countries, sharing her story and collaborating with international organizations dedicated to fighting human trafficking and gender-based violence. Her journey was not just about her own survival anymore, it had become a mission to empower others and dismantle the systems of oppression that had nearly destroyed her life. One day, while visiting a women's shelter in Lagos, Omar met Ife, a young woman who had escaped a similar ordeal. Ife's eyes were filled with a mix of pain and determination that Omar recognized all too well. They bonded quickly, and Omar took Ife under her wing, mentoring her and helping her find her voice. Omar and Ife began to work together, organizing workshops and support groups for other survivors. Their efforts caught the attention of local media, and soon they were featured in numerous articles and television segments. The exposure helped them secure funding for their initiatives, allowing them to expand their reach and offer more comprehensive support to those in need. Despite the progress they were making, Omar never forgot the lingering threat of Chief Okafor and his network. She worked closely with the journalist's nephew, who had now become a trusted ally and friend. Together, they compiled irrefutable evidence of Chief Okafor's crimes, building a case that would not only expose him but also dismantle his entire operation. The day of reckoning finally came when law enforcement, armed with the evidence gathered by Omar and the journalist, raided Chief Okafor's compound. The operation was swift and decisive, leading to the arrest of Chief Okafor and many of his associates. The news of his downfall spread quickly, sending a powerful message to other would-be traffickers and abusers. With Chief Okafor behind bars, Omar felt a weight lift from her shoulders. But she knew that her work was far from over. The fight for justice and empowerment was a continuous journey, and she was committed to walking that path for as long as it took. Years later, Omar stood on the stage of another international conference, this time in New York City. The auditorium was filled with dignitaries, activists, and survivors from around the world. As she began her speech, she looked out at the faces of those who had supported her and those who had been inspired by her journey. "My story is not just my own," Omar said, her voice strong and clear. "It is the story of countless women who have faced unimaginable horrors and have risen above them. It is a testament to the power of resilience, the importance of solidarity, and the undeniable truth that we are stronger together." The applause that followed was thunderous, a celebration of not only Omar's bravery but also the collective strength of every person in the room. As the audience rose to their feet, Omar felt a deep sense of fulfillment and hope for the future. Her journey had come full circle, from the depth of despair to the heights of empowerment, and she knew that together, they could continue to make a difference. Omar's legacy grew, inspiring new generations of advocates and survivors. Her story became a beacon of hope and a call to action, reminding the world that even in the face of the darkest adversities, there is always a path to empowerment and justice. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the post notification, so you will be the first to know whenever I upload a new video. Thank you for watching.